Hello, all you beautiful beings. Welcome to episode 7 of the Intersectionality and Veganism series. This video has been a long time coming, so let's get right to it. I'd like to talk about things happening in the vegan movement that I don't consider worth defending, or worth doing for that matter. Let me start off by making one thing perfectly clear. We are all human, and none of us are infallible or above reproach. With that said, I don't think that asking people not to partake in or defend these behaviors is asking something superhuman and unattainable from them. So please, no responses about how no one's perfect. So let's get started. Number 1, Ableism and Pseudoscience. I already have an entire video about this topic, so I won't go too long. Basically, we should not defend ableist comments about people with mental illness, characterizing non-vegans as retarded or psychotic, promoting pseudoscience like mental illness denial, or promoting unrealistic health guarantees as part of becoming vegan. Moreover, a whole foods plant-based diet is neither a miracle cure, nor does it automatically prevent any illnesses. And no, losing your period, provided you're not menopausal or pregnant, is not healthy or normal. Once again, watch my whole video on that topic. Number 2, Classism. More specifically, the mindset that, quote, it's easy to be vegan, or the defensive, rice and beans though mantra.
Get fucked. And you're, what about scurvy? What about, you can't just live on bread. Okay, alright, but dude, they enrich the bread. You could live on the bread for a while, and you could eat beans and rice. Like, even if you had to eat out because you didn't have a rice cooker, because you actually were homeless, if we took it to the extreme, $1.50 for 600 calories of cooked rice. Albeit, you still don't have vitamin C, but we're getting in the right direction. You say, oh, well, you can't really cook potatoes. That's true. But dude, you wouldn't have to do a lot of fucking work to get, like, you just scrounge up a couple of fucking extra cans after you get your $1 a day for 1,600 calories of bread. I guess that's not really enough, but, like, how many calories do you really think a fucking homeless person's eating anyways? Maybe they're getting a large soda or some shit, I don't know. But a homeless person eating carbohydrates, and you're like, okay, but what about the other nutrients? It's like, dude, one head of fucking lettuce, like, dude, these people are boozing hard. They can find the money for some fucking carrots or some apples. Like, honestly, dude, if a homeless person walked up to me in the fucking supermarket and asked me if I would buy him some apples, I would get the motherfucker a bag of apples, like or a box. Depends on how fucking much I like the guy. But, like, it's like, they're not asking for fucking apples, man. They're asking for money to buy fucking scotch or whatever they do. And you say, like, it's a privilege.
While a vegan diet is not inherently expensive, there are barriers to certain parts of the population. Yes, even in this so-called first world, to eat a healthy, sustainable vegan diet. Issues of proximity, affordability, and time can get in the way for impoverished people. And these issues largely affect people of color, at least in the United States. Instead of getting defensive about it, we should ask why. We should question why, question the systems that are in place, and what can be done to help change things for the better. Number 3, Misanthropy. More specifically, remember my response to Yourofsky's Misanthropy video? As I made abundantly clear, I thought his statements of misanthropy sounded very much like an out to give himself to not care about real-world issues that affect marginalized groups of human beings. Moreover, a big thing that bothered me about that video in particular was the notion he stated that vegans cause the least amount of harm. Personally, I don't consider veganism to be that inherently. In fact, that might be worthy of a video of its own. Veganism is definitely a crucial factor in lessening harm and creating a more just world, but not the be-all, end-all. I think misanthropy and veganism is a hindrance to the cause. You need to have compassion and empathy for other people if you have any chance of getting them to see your point of view. Number 4, slavery and Holocaust comparisons. This one is for a few reasons I touched on in previous videos of mine, as well as both on my WordPress blog and my Tumblr blog. The main reason I'll touch on here is, even if you think it's a proper comparison, keep in mind that with activism, the message isn't for you, it's for your audience. Consider this. Is it worth sacrificing the validity of the message of animal liberation on the altar of publicity? Really, it kind of speaks to a problem overall with animal activism that gets the most attention, both online and off. It can lead people to shooting the message if the message seems disconnected and non-empathetic. It's kind of related to my previous point.
This is Jessica. She suffers from BWV-AKT boom. Boyfriend went vegan and knocked the bottom out of me. A painful condition that occurs when boyfriends go vegan and can suddenly bring it like a tantric porn star. For Jessica, it's too late.
Oh, you're back. You feeling better?
Please, go to BWV-AKT.
Number 5, food shaming other vegans. I see this a lot. Vegans getting shamed for drinking coffee, using artificial sweeteners, cooking with oil, or not eating fruit every day, or even for every meal of the day. It's honestly a tad ridiculous to me, and to be candid, it makes veganism look more dogmatic and restrictive to outsiders. And for the record, there's nothing inherently healthy about eating all raw tofu or all carbs. And on a semi-related note, fat shaming and body shaming, vegans and non-vegans. Again, I have an entire video about this. Seriously, enough already. Stop it. Number 7. Yeah, the fat shaming one was number 6. Number 7, bashing ex-vegans. Yes, I have partaken in this myself. I own it, and I'm not proud of it. At least not the way I did it. Yes, veganism is not a diet, and no, I'm not happy that there are people who fail on their vegan diets and go back to eating animals and their secretions. However, I've realized that to some degree, the ex-vegan phenomenon is the monster that my number 5 point has created. I remember all the backlash against Jordan Younger, aka the Balanced Blonde, after she wrote a book on her orthorexia and ex-vegan status.
Would make you more money to title the book Breaking Vegan rather than Breaking Orthorexia. And you know what? I would like to make a book titled Breaking a Dumb Bitch's Face.
Fielding some messages from you guys out there asking us to do a video on Jordan Younger of the Balanced Blonde blog. She's back in the news once again with the scintillating headline, My vegan diet almost killed me. Woo! So I actually did report on her way back in May when she made another media blitz, but she's back. She's on a ton of newspapers and magazines and even TV.
Even writing a book to share her new journey, one bite at a time.
So she's promoting a book. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, she sends word out to the press. Oh, I have this book, and it's about how a vegan diet nearly killed me. Press runs with it. They love to hear stuff like that.
I absolutely love. Stuff like that.
Nothing that's non-vegan, nothing that's even not a vegetable or a fruit. I lived my life based off of what I could and could not eat. I started living in a bubble of restriction, entirely vegan, entirely plant-based, entirely gluten-free.
So where to start? I mean,
she's eating a plant-based and vegan diet.
There you go.
It's the same thing, and she's calling that restrictive. Well, first we gotta say that's a bunch of BS because our whole show, if it's about anything, it's about how unrestricting a whole food plant-based diet is.
Exactly. There's just like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plants to choose from. There's so many different types of dishes that you can have. There's really a pretty limited. But that's the thing, when you really go into the Jordan Younger story, there's what they're saying right now in this particular run of interviews, but when you go back into the archives, you see what the real story with Jordan Younger is, and it really doesn't have anything to do with her quote-unquote vegan lifestyle nearly killing her. It was her vegan diet. And the operative word here is diet because she didn't come at veganism from an ethical standpoint, but from a diet standpoint, trying to lose weight.
Yeah. Gee, it's almost like she didn't get that veganism is not a diet. I can't imagine where she got that idea in a world of books entitled Skinny Bitch that promote veganism for weight loss, and popular YouTubers who promote veganism as a way of staying lean and getting quote-unquote bikini bodies. In all seriousness, maybe people are treating veganism as a fad diet because there are so many loud vegan voices treating it the same way. Just a thought. Number 8, homophobia. Something I can't even believe exists in this movement. Being LGBTQ plus is not a choice any more than one's natural eye color is a choice. Savvy? Let's move on. Number 9, hero worship. This is probably the most important one. Excuse my French, but a shitty person who has introduced a lot of people to veganism and the cause of animal liberation is still a shitty person. Personally, it took a lot to get me to become a vegan. Research, determination, and effort. It's all a process. I think that's true of many people who weren't raised vegan. I cannot credit a single person with a singular person with turning me vegan. That being said, if Gary Yourofsky or Vegan Gains or Freelee introduced you to veganism, that's great, and kudos to you for making the change. However, it doesn't make any of them infallible, and nor does it excuse any of this.
Remember, there is never enough money, enough love, enough respect, enough forgiveness. You'll always need more. Even though no one wants to hear your whinging bullshit except other losers, make sure you corner your favourite shoulder to cry on, and don't let them say a word for the next 2 hours. On the outside they will nod and ooh and ah, but on the inside they want to just slap your face into reality.
I'm a misanthrope, not a racist. I hate all human beings, Palestinians and Israelis. Oppressed humans are no longer in full violation of their principles, then I might show them some compassion. But right now, if you have no compassion to animals, you deserve none in return. Do you realize in America that when blacks were freed from slavery, they were given 40 acres and a mule? They were actually given a fucking mule! The freed slaves were given a slave. Who's got it bad? Blacks. At the end of the day, these protesters are going home to eat murdered animals. They are treating the animals in the same vile, disgusting way that the cops treated Eric Gardner, Freddie Gray, and the others. What a lovely display of hypocrisy right before our very eyes. But does anyone have the guts to call them out besides me? Just like I've called out the pathetic Palestinian human rights sympathizers? Oh, and here's one more group of psychos who need to be called out. The Hindus in Nepal, who murder hundreds of thousands of animals every 5 years in a festival of murder for their Hindu gods. Click the link if you want to see the 2015 Festival of Blood and Murder and see how wonderful these scumbags are. The only travesty with the recent earthquake there was that every motherfucking Nepalese who took part in this festival or who stood by silently didn't die. Fuck them and anybody who donates money to help them recover. Struggle, one fight, animal liberation. Fuck human rights.
So after Freelee the Banana Girl made a video about the first time Furious Pete got cancer and how it could have potentially been prevented and treated through diet, Furious Pete decided to file a fallacious copyright claim to prevent anyone from learning that cancer is a preventable illness that is caused by animal products and can be treated through a whole foods vegan diet. Because imagine how horrible that would be if people could just go on YouTube and present medical facts as to why animal products are harmful to our own health, along with being unethical and cruel. Well, Pete and his dumb bitch girlfriend don't seem to like that idea, but fortunately Freelee's video is still up on her channel. But after several months, Pete decided to file a fallacious copyright claim against me because, in Pete's mind, torturing and killing animals is okay, but educating people to the fact that eating animals is both unhealthy and cruel just isn't acceptable. But fortunately for all of us, but not Pete, it doesn't matter if you disagree with science because science will always be correct. And it seems I was correct because Pete got cancer again. Oh, so sad. And before you all start calling me a sociopath as some sort of attempt to insult me, how about you consider the fact that Furious Pete makes fun of the suffering and death of the animals he eats on a daily basis. So I don't see why I shouldn't make a joke about his suffering and death. So who would like a haha, you're gonna die of cancer t-shirt? Yeah, so basically the vast majority of the medical literature demonstrates that animal products cause cancer, but Pete decided to keep eating meat, dairy, and eggs anyway. Maybe he forgot about all that because he blocked my video worldwide. So
I find it quite frustrating when people who spout this bigoted, irrational, and alienating rhetoric are constantly defended from criticism because, oh, the vegan message, though.
Like, hating on our fellow vegan content creators because of the way they spread the vegan message doesn't really seem productive.
Yeah, just because they spread it in a way that's different from how you personally would spread it, that's no reason to hate them. They're still spreading a vegan message.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sign off on any of that nonsense I just showed you just because it's coming from vegans. Vegans who are fine with throwing marginalized groups of people under the bus are not my allies. People who are doing this don't deserve my undying gratitude or respect or anyone else's. Just saying. Number 10. The mindset that everything is okay as long as it's for veganism. This, in a way, is tangentially related to all the aforementioned points. It's come to my attention recently that there are vegan neo-Nazi YouTube channels, and I have heard a few vegans talk about how this is bad for the movement. Now, personally, I believe veganism should be considered an inherently anti-fascist movement, as I'll touch on a bit below and probably have a video about in the future, and that these people need to be called out, whether they're vegan or not. It's related especially to the concept of who the movement holds up as its quote-unquote leaders. I don't want to defend neo-Nazis, or vegan neo-Nazis, vegan racist, vegan misogynist, vegan heterosexist, any more than I want to defend non-vegan ones. It's kind of similar, as I said in previous videos, to the kind of things which Western feminism has come under fire for in recent years. We can and should have some standards. And number 11. My number 11 point was too big to condense to this video. I'm going to make that my next video. So, signing out, and as always, peace and love.